and how they sent out their cats to all of the areas of their kingdom to help bring it back. You know, they had that to sing that magic song so they could get their voices back. So where did they send the catfish? Down to the very bottom edge of their kingdom. They sent it to the great blue
river.
The big blue river. And we met all of our friends that lived down there. And then on the edge of the blue river was a whole big section of a great big green fields that went all over the rest of the kingdom right here. And this is the part that we're going to learn the story about today. And up above the green fields, what was there?
The pink mountains.
The big pink mountains.
That's where the pink cat goes.
Mm-hmm.
The pink cat
And then
goes
up above
right
the
in
pink
middle.
mountain, the beautiful
full
yellow,
yellow
sunshine was shining. And it even shined
But it looks like it's
high.
wearing out.
I know, doesn't it? We'll get a new one.
I have a quick question for the kids.
Mhm.
Now, kids, is this for the Queen Clef? For the Queen Clef or for the King?
Yeah. Who special
This
symbol
is
goes right here?
Queen
Queen,
Gina,
okay.
Queen
okay.
Gina,
Uh-huh.
and King. Oh, Frederick.
Yeah, good.
Is the field
And you
and
know
the
what's
water.
kind of funny? Is remember when they lost their voices and the queen turned into a goose?
Yes, a golden goose.
What letter does golden goose start with?
G.
What letter does Gina start with?
G. I almost thought it started with J.
I know, it sounds like it might, but it really starts with G. What about Frederick and Frog?
F.
Isn't that crazy?
But it doesn't. But the symbol doesn't even look like an F.
No, but what does it look like? Remember the king has really big,
Ears.
his giant ears? Yeah. Okay, so
His ears
today...
are gigantic.
All right, well, I would love to tell you the story about the green part of the country, but I can't unless you're listening. Are you ready? Okay.
Where are the puppets?
So, the puppets, they're in there. We're going to see them in just a few minutes. So you remember the green space cats?
Mm-hmm.
Well, those were the cats that were sent out to the to the green fields. And the king says, you know, you look like you're made out of grass because you're green from outer space. So I'm going to send you as my special emissary to the green fields.
What is emissary?
Like somebody that's a messenger for the king.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the 3 green cats went out, and they're kind of super fast because they're from outer space. So they were just running all over the place. And they were running all over the green fields and talking to people. And you know what? The king decided to go with them. And the king came along and he got really hot. And so he decided he was going to go for a swimming in the river. And the cats looked at him and he's had something really funny on his tummy. When he took off his shirt to go swimming, you know what he had on his tummy? It was a dragon. And they even noticed something else really weird. When the king scratched his stomach, guess what it did? It went and it puffed smoke. Yep, right out of the king's tummy. And they said, that's really weird. I thought we were the ones from outer space, but he looks even weirder than we do. And so they said, Mr. King, can you tell us why you have that weird dragon on your stomach and why your tummy puffs out smoke? And the king said, well, long time ago when I was a little boy, I lived in the castle with my mother, who was the queen back then. And he said, and I loved pets, so he loved all kinds of animals, but he had a very favorite pet. And when he was a little boy, guess what he had?
A dragon.
He had a dragon. His mom gave him the dragon egg for his birthday. And when it hatched, it was this little tiny blue dragon. And he was best friends. He was kind of like Sunny. You'd follow him everywhere. And, you know, because he's pretty little, most of the time dragons breathe smoke and fire. But this one was so tiny, when he sneezed, just little sparks would come out. So it was like maybe like little fireworks, you know, when he would sneeze. But then the dragon started getting bigger and the king was growing, and so they were both kind of growing up together. But those sneezes with the sparks, they started getting a little smokier and they started getting a little bit bigger. And one day, he sneezed a little too hard, and those sparks got stuck in the queen's curtains on the window. And the next thing you know, there was smoke everywhere, and it was starting to burn. And the king was like, "Oh no, Mom's gonna be really mad." And so he's throwing water on it. He finally got it out, but those curtains looked pretty bad. They were all burnt up. And the queen came in. She said, "Who's been burning up my curtains?" The king said, "I don't know." And she said, "I know. It's that dragon of yours, and you better never let him burn up my curtains again." Well, the next day, guess what happened? He sneezed again, and he got the other curtains. And those started burning up again, and it kept happening over and over and over. And pretty soon the queen didn't have very many curtains left in the whole castle. And she said, finally, "I've had it. I've had enough. You are not going to be burning down my house because of your pet." And she said, "I know you love your dragon, but it's really time for him to go live outside where the other dragons live, because dragons really aren't meant to live inside castles. They're just too big and kind of dangerous." So the king was really, really, really sad. And so the queen said, "Well, you know what? I'll let you do. Instead of being happy, because I know you're missing your friend who lives outside," she said, she put a magic dragon tattoo right on his tummy. She said, "Whenever you miss your dragon friend, all you have to do is you got to tickle your tummy right here, and it'll go poof, and breathe smoke." And so whenever the king missed his dragon friend, he would just go, "Oh, I missed my dragon." And there was smoke. And it always made him laugh, so then he wasn't sad anymore for his dragon friend. So can you all pretend like you have your magic dragon tattoos? Can you tickle the dragon? Yes. And so the cats just thought this was hilarious. So they were like rolling around in the grass and they were laughing. And the next thing they knew, hi! It was this little tiny guy, and he was dressed up like a ninja. And he popped out of nowhere and he says, "What are you trying to do to my king? I'm the bodyguard." And they're like, "Where is he?" And then they finally looked way down low, and it was this little tiny guy. And they said, "Well, who are you? We don't know who you are." He says, "My name is Kung Fu Eddie, and I'm the fastest, most fierce ninja in the whole kingdom, and I am this king's special bodyguard." And he said,
How is he?
And the king's special bodyguard said, "I even have a spot on the king's royal symbol. See, that's my spot." And they said, "Well, now we see why you have the lower spot, because you're so short." Because he was only about that big. And they said, "How did you even get to be the bodyguard if you're so tiny?" He said, "Well, because I'm so fast." He was like super speedy ninja. And they just thought that was hilarious. And he said, "Come on, we're going to go back up to the castle and we're going to play a game." And then they heard a funny little sound. And they looked up to the king. And guess what they saw? Ribbit. 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 And then they said, "Okay, this king is just weird. First of all, he has a dragon on his tummy. And then he has, this crazy little ninja guy running around trying to protect him. And now he has a frog sitting on his shoulder. And this frog keeps going ribbit, ribbit, ribbit in his ear. And every time the frog goes ribbit, 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 the king starts hilariously laughing, just falling over, crying, laughing, just all the time laughing. And they're like, "What is this frog saying?" Well, then they got the story. The king says, "Well, back when the prince cast the evil spell on the whole country, I got turned into a frog. And I was really, really sad. And remember how he was afraid to swim because his ears were so big, he thought he might sink? And he's like, so I was just sitting on this lily pad and I was all alone, and I had one friend. And you know who his friend was?
A golden
His
swan.
friend was named Fred the Frog. He was the only other frog who would come out of the water and talk to him. And he said, you know what, every time I saw Fred, he just told me jokes all day long. Do you know any jokes? No? Do you know any good jokes? Yeah? You want to tell us?
It's a very old joke. I can't think of any other jokes because my sisters think my jokes don't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Sometimes they don't need to. But the king just loved Freddy the Frog's jokes.
Sometimes I don't understand why my sisters watch Spanish shows and they don't even understand what they're saying. They say it's funny because they don't understand it. I don't get it.
Well, different people think different things are funny. Anyway, so the king said, you know what? When I became the king again and I was turned back into a human, I just missed Fred so much that I offered him a special job. And
To make him laugh.
yes, he said, Freddie, I want you to come to the castle and I want you to sit on my shoulder and I want you to tell me jokes all day so I'm always laughing. So that's what he did. Freddie the Frog, he came to the castle and he moved in and he had a special little spot right here on the king's shoulders. And whenever
Did
the
he
king
have like a
started,
special tank or something?
yeah, I'm sure he did when he went to bed. He would have a place where he could live. But he just sat right on the king's shoulders, and anytime the king started looking a little sad or whatever, he'd just whisper a little joke in his ear so he would laugh.
So he was
So-
this funny frog?
He was Funny Freddy Frog.
Funny Freddy Frog.
Yeah.
Frog.
So he's anyway, so they're sitting there, and then Fred started telling them all jokes. And they were all just dying laughing, and Kung Fu Eddie was laughing, and Freddy the Frog was laughing, and the king was laughing, and even the special dragon tattoo on his tummy started laughing, and it was puffing smoke out everywhere, and Kung Fu Eddie was laughing, and then they heard boom, 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 big steps, and they looked up, and they saw this huge
Giant.
green giant.
It's called an ogre.
No, his name was Giant George.
Giant
And
George.
Giant George says,
Bodyguard.
what's all this laughing? I want to know what the joke is. But the cats were kind of scared. They're like, you look really, really, really scary and you're huge. And then George started laughing. He's like, I'm not really mean, but I just look really scary. He's like, and that's why I'm the king's bodyguard. See, I even have a special spot on the king's royal symbol. And then the cat said, oh, now we know why there's two. This spot is for the Giant George because he's so tall. And this spot is for Kung Fu Eddie because he's so short. And so Giant George came out and he plopped himself down, and then Funny Fred started telling them some more jokes. But then after a while the king said, all right guys, this is all fun and everything, but I'm feeling kind of like we should play a game. And so they all got up to play a game, and guess what the king did? He said, I'm going to go get ready. I'm going to put on my uniform so we can play. Okay? So the king went in his dressing room, and he went in and he got dressed. And he came back out, and they all go, he had an arrow stuck right through the middle of his head. And they said, are you okay? Oh my goodness, you look hurt. And the king just started laughing, and he was like, it's a joke. It's just a headband. It had one part on one side and one part on the other side. And it just looked scary. And then he said, I always wear this when I play basketball because it makes me look super tough. And so then after the king was all ready, they went outside to play basketball. That was their special game. He loved to play football, and he also loved to play basketball. But guess where they had to put their basketball hoop? Way up there. Because Giant George was so big, they had to put it where he couldn't reach it. Otherwise, he would win every time. Right? Okay, so everybody stand up. Alright, and I'm going to show you where everybody is. Okay, so can you tickle your dragons? Alright, where does Funny Fred sit? Do you remember Funny Fred the Frog? Where's his special seat? Right on the king's shoulders, right? So can we touch Funny Fred the Frog? Okay. Alright, now what does the king wear stuck right here?
This arrow.
Yeah, the crazy arrow, right?
I
So
have a game that there's a funny fish involved with it.
Okay,
And
well
it
we'll
has
play
the
that
same
maybe
arrow.
later, okay? But watch, yes.
Now I know why it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Very good. Yay. So what's line number 3?
The dragon.
Yeah, and what is line number 4?
The frog.
The funny Fred the Frog.
And the
what's number
arrow.
5? The arrow. Very good. Now let me show you. Now remember the king has Fred the Frog right here, and on his special symbol right here is his one bodyguard, the really short one. Who's the short one? Do you remember?
Kung Fu Eddie.
Right? Okay, so this is Kung Fu Eddie's spot right here. And you know what? Why it's this spot is because he's so fast that he runs around and he gets really sweaty. Sometimes he starts smelling really bad. And so sometimes they call him Smelly Eddie. Like an armpit kind of smells bad sometimes.
Like B.O.
So this is Smelly Eddie's spot, you know? I know, that's kind of gross, but he runs around. He's super fast. What can I say?
Ew.
So who's right here?
The Kung Fu Eddie.
Kung Fu Eddie. And who's right here?
Frog.
Funny Freddy Frog. Now who's super strong right here?
The
Giant George. Yes. And what color is Giant George?
Green.
Huge and green.
I don't know why he's green.
Yeah, he's green like my jacket. All right. And what
Like
does the
dark
king wear?
The arrow on his head.
And where do they have to put their basketball hoop?
Oh,
Way up here. Can you make a basketball on top of your head? Like this? There's our basketball. Okay, so now do you think we can play Simon Says?
Yes.
Okay, Simon says, touch your dragon. Simon says, touch Freddy the Frog. Simon says, touch your arrow. Simon says, where's the basketball? Simon says, where's Kung Fu Eddie? Stinky Eddie. Okay, Simon says, where's Giant George? Right here, right? He's taller than the frog, really big. Okay, Simon says, touch your dragon. Touch Freddy the Frog. Simon didn't say it. Okay, pretty close. All right, if you guys will all come out here, I've got some